Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards. People demand freedom of speech as compensation for the freedom of thought they rarely use, and anxiety is just the dizzying side effect of that unclaimed liberty. They understand me so poorly that they can't even grasp my complaint about their incomprehension of me, and that lack of understanding becomes another layer of isolation that deepens the sense of being unseen. Remember, life is not a problem to be solved, it is a reality to be experienced. And the most common form of despair is not being who you truly are. The most painful state is remembering a future that will never belong to you, a phantom timeline that haunts you like a ghost of possibilities that will never materialize. Imagine if every event in the world were a misunderstanding. If laughter were really tears, if knowledge were a wealth that no thief could steal, if every word spoken carried a double meaning that could dissolve the boundaries between joy and sorrow. Once you label me, you negate me, and daring to lose one's footing even for a moment means daring to be alive. Not daring is merely losing oneself in the safety of conformity, a life spent in the shadows of others' expectations. The tyrant may die and his rule end, but the martyr dies and his rule begins. Because the death of a symbol can spark a new order, and facing the facts of who you are changes the very nature of what you become, turning the raw material of your existence into a crafted masterpiece. Many chase pleasure with breathless haste, rushing past it so quickly that they can't even believe it exists. And obedience becomes a stranger to them as they sprint past the very moments that could have offered them depth, savoring only the surface glitter. Boredom, the root of all evil, is the desperate refusal to be oneself. Existence without passion is impossible, and the self-assured believer ends up a greater sinner in God's eyes than the troubled disbeliever, because certainty can become arrogance, while doubt keeps the soul humble. A leap of faith is still a leap, but only after reflection. Why bother remembering a past that can't be turned into a present? History is a library of stories that we cannot rewrite, yet we keep revisiting its shelves, hoping to extract a lesson that will illuminate the dark corridors of today. On a secretly blushing cheek, the glow of the heart is reflected, and happiness becomes the greatest hiding place for despair, because we often mask our anguish with smiles that become armor against judgment. Knowing when your cue arrives is essential. My sorrow is my castle, a fortress built from the stones of loss that protects the vulnerable parts of my spirit. Removing the paradox from the thinker leaves only a professor, a mind that can explain but not feel, while a no hides nothing. Yet a yes can become a deception with ease, a promise that glitters on the surface while eroding the foundation beneath. From the moment you are born, you are already old enough to die, and hope is simply a passion for what might be possible, a flicker that persists even when darkness gathers. Cultivate the will. It is the armor that protects the mind, and thus never deceive yourself. For among all deceivers, you fear yourself the most, the inner critic that can dismantle any triumph with a single whisper. If you want to be loathsome to God, just run with the herd. My standpoint is armed neutrality, a calm detachment that observes without being pulled into the vortex of moral absolutism. The only intelligent tactical response to life's horror is to laugh defiantly at it, to turn the monstrous into the ridiculous, because humor disarms the terror that seeks to bind you. Being lost in spiritlessness is the worst fate of all, a vacancy that echoes louder than any shouted rage. What is youth? A dream, a fragile bubble of potential that bursts when confronted with the weight of reality. What is love? The dream's content, a tapestry woven from longing, fear, and the desire to transcend the self. Never forget to love yourself, for self-affection is the wellspring from which all other affection flows. Whoever has learned to be anxious in the right way has mastered the ultimate lesson. Anxiety, when channeled, becomes a compass pointing toward what truly matters. And it is better to get lost in passion than to lose passion altogether. Because passion fuels the fire that keeps the night from swallowing you whole. I would rather be a swineherd understood by the swine than a poet misunderstood by men. The animals may lack language, but they perceive sincerity, while humans often mistake obscurity for depth. Life's hidden forces reveal themselves only when you live far from idleness, the root of all evil, which paradoxically is the only true good, for action creates meaning where stagnation breeds emptiness. People settle for a level of despair they can tolerate and call it happiness, trading the ache of yearning for a comfortable numbness. While sleeping is the height of genius, because the mind, at rest, processes the tangled threads of experience into insight. Greatness comes not from what happens to me, but from what I do with what happens. And faith is the highest passion a man can hold, a steadfast belief that bridges the chasm between possibility and actuality. You become what you understand, and understanding is a forge where raw perception is hammered into refined wisdom. Life has become a bitter drink to me, yet it must be taken drop by drop, counted one by one, until the self that remains is the self that knows, a self that has distilled the essence of existence into a clear, potent elixir. Faith begins precisely where thinking stops, where the mind surrenders to the unknown and the heart steps forward. And when I opened my eyes and saw the real world, I started to laugh, and I haven't stopped since. Because laughter is the echo of freedom that refuses to be silenced. What separates all love from lust is that love leaves an imprint of eternity, a mark that outlasts the fleeting spark of desire. The best response to criticism is to smile and forget, because the highest achievement isn't to comprehend the highest, but to act upon it, turning insight into motion. If you don't have many friends, it means you have amassed a great deal of life experience. For solitude becomes a laboratory where you test ideas without distraction. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. And to be human is not a static fact. It is an ongoing task, a perpetual work in progress, where each sunrise offers a new blueprint to rewrite what yesterday left unfinished. The journey, then, is a tapestry of paradoxes, an ever-expanding horizon that beckons you to step beyond the comfort of the known, to embrace the uncertainty that fuels growth, to dance with the shadows and the light, and to understand that every breath is both an ending and a beginning. A reminder that the present moment, however fleeting, is the only arena where you truly live, where you can plant the seeds of tomorrow while savoring the taste of today. In that delicate balance lies the secret: to listen to the past without being trapped by it, to honor the future without fearing its loss, and to walk forward with the confidence that every misstep, every label, every laugh, every tear, every breath is part of the grand narrative that you author moment by moment, line by line, until the final page reveals not a conclusion, but a continuation of the story you have always been meant to tell.